many great points have been made at this conference, but if we think about what has been the key to our personal success, each one of our personal success and national progress, two things come to mind: quality education and connectivity. Many of us grew up in the Himalayan region at a time when there was high illiteracy and minimal connectivity. There were no schools, no roads, no electricity, not to think of internet or the artificial intelligence with the robot Sophia, unimaginable. Today, we are dazzled by great progress in connectivity. But let us recall that even in ancient times, our scriptures talk about communicating by Akashbani, traveling by Pushpak Biman. Indeed, 3,000 years ago, Princess Sita of Mithila was married to King Rama of Ayodhya and was kidnapped and taken all the way to the island of Sri Lanka. And the monkey leader, Hanuman, had brought a whole lot of medicinal herbs from the Himalayas to Sri Lanka. So obviously there was some connectivity in those days, or perhaps in the imagination of people, connectivity was there. But today, as Ambassador Teblis said, our region, South Asia, is the least connected, least integrated in the whole world. Some historians say that perhaps South Asia was better connected in ancient times up to the time of the end of the British Raj than it is today. The partition of India between India and Pakistan led to breaking that connectivity. Land roads from India to Burma to Thailand and on to Southeast Asia, or in the west to Afghanistan, Iran, and Central Asia were blocked. And India, post-independence India, its policy of import substitution and the notorious license Raj led to really economic deglobalization. It was only after India economic liberalization started in 1990 that we started becoming, this whole region started becoming more outward looking and more globalized. And in the north, the physical barriers of the Himalayas, the political turbulence in Tibet, and China's own inward-looking economic policies up to the time of Deng Xiaoping led to there being a connectivity black hole in this whole region. Today, as Ambassador Teblis was also saying, trade among South Asian countries is less than 5% of their global trade. If you look at the volume of trade, South Asian countries trade among themselves about $50 billion a year, whereas their global trade is more than $1 trillion. And if you look at our neighboring ASEAN countries, their trade among themselves is 40% and more. Ours is 2%. Clearly, the time has come for this trade and connectivity barriers to be broken, and I would like to submit that Himalayan region could be that region that breaks that barrier. Indeed, the stars seem very auspiciously aligned for this kind of a breakthrough. The Chinese Belt and Road Initiative has come at the right time. But it is not only China. India, too, seems poised for great initiative. Some of us remember when Indian Prime Minister Modi came to Nepal in 2014, addressed our National Constituent Assembly. Remember what he said? He wanted to help Nepal in 3 ways. He said, we want to hit Nepal, HIT, highways, information technology, and transmission lines. And he repeated similar messages when he went and spoke to Bhutan, Myanmar, Bangladesh, and other places. Unfortunately, in the case of Nepal, soon after that, we were hit by a blockade, even as we were trying to recover from a terrible earthquake. No wonder we have been much more receptive to China's BRI. But India now has come to gracefully accept Nepal's political choice, as it has also reconciled with the political choices of other sovereign neighbors. If India seriously revives the Modi's HIT initiative, that could be a match for China, particularly in this region. And together, this would augur wonderfully well for the development of the whole Hindu Kush Himalayan region from the Pamir to Myanmar. And I'm sure many of our development partners, our ambassadors here, they would join in such an initiative to expand connectivity in this region. Yes, we look forward to improved connectivity, a connectivity revolution in the form of roads and airports, shipping lines and transmission lines. But connectivity goes beyond physical infrastructure to linking people of different cultures, different religions, different languages in a large human family in a global village. Better connectivity will also help us in the devolution of power from large conglomerates to small communities. Nepal's new experiment with federalism will require and trigger connectivity for its success. Connectivity will transform landlocked countries into land-linked neighbors. It will transform the mighty Himalayas from being barriers to barometers for mutual trust and cooperation. Thanks to modern connectivity, we saw during the great earthquake in Nepal in 2015 how Nepali migrant workers managed to reach to their families and communities and provided support much faster than the government in Kathmandu. Imagine how much better service could be provided to poor people in remote areas if small private businesses, local governments, and NGOs could harness the full force of connectivity that is available today. And progress in connectivity need not be linear or incremental. Just like mobile phones enabled us to bypass the landline era, we would be able to leapfrog from fossil fuel to renewable energy, from private-owned vehicles, from reliance on private vehicles to public transport, and ultimately from the outdated concept of military security to human security. As we will hear from many of our panelists this afternoon, later on this morning, the Himalayan region is endowed with tremendous potential in terms of connectivity possibilities, of air, the connectivity mandala that you were talking about, of air, water, energy, earth, and space. In the case of Nepal, lack of political stability and policy incoherence were the two biggest stumbling blocks for this country's development. We no longer have that excuse now. So let us hope that the Himalayan consensus that will emerge from this conference will firmly and finally help unlock the doors to our development with connectivity as its decisive key. Thank you, Sajid.